So, hello. Here's a video response to one of Pat Candell's videos regarding Islam. One entitled "Singling Out a Billion Muslims." As this is my first video responding to his videos, and I'm going to attempt to respond to them on a regular basis, I should point out that by responding, I don't mean insulting back or anything like that. In fact, I don't want to say that he's just insulting. I want to, for this to be productive, I would like to assume that he is in fact trying to help society, protect society from what he sees is the biggest danger to society, or a great evil, and he considers it as Islam. And in fact, I can understand to a great extent. I'm surprised sometimes that there are a lot of people who really don't fully understand what's happening in the world in terms of Islam, even though he probably considers that me saying that he doesn't fully understand things probably a negative thing in itself. But let's start responding to it. I just wanted to make it clear that I rather not say that he's just being rude and insulting, but actually has a true purpose, which is to help humanity. And thank you very much, Pat, if that's what you're trying to do. One more thing before I continue: I do have a live question and answer program where people, including Pat, are welcome to join as panelists, and we're trying to see how we can make the world a better place. And that is on called the BigQuestionsLive.org. It's an internet based question and answer program. Please join in. I'll probably put a few website addresses in the comment section at the bottom of this video to make it easier. Anyway, so let me answer a few questions or points that Pat made in his last video. He says people say to him that he's singled out a billion Muslims, and he doesn't actually make a point based on that, but I would like to. So let's say he's suggesting that he doesn't care that he's singling out a billion people. In fact, in a way, I don't care that he's singling out a billion people. He is making fun of the word singling out a billion people, which doesn't make sense, so let's stop using that word. Let's just say that he is saying bad things about a billion people. And my point is that it's just as important, even more important in fact, to defend minorities. So if he's trying to say that he doesn't care as a billion people, you're right. You know, it doesn't matter. You can say bad things about a billion people if they're doing bad things. You know, and I suppose that's all there is to say about that. He didn't actually make a clear point regarding the fact that he's singling out a billion people. He does say that he happily insults people. That in itself isn't great. It doesn't really help your cause truly, or doesn't really help. Maybe it helps his cause if he wanted to just gain popularity, possibly. But then again, I did say I don't want to assume that he is doing it just to insult people and become popular doing that. I would like to think that he's trying to help the world. So I'd like to say, first of all, insulting people isn't great, but maybe Pat feels that that's the only way to respond to such a deadly cause as is Islam in his point of view. So, okay, I'll take that on, and if that's what he understands is the only way to respond to it, I can empathise to that extent. But at the same time, I'd like to think that he's a really clever guy, and that is not the only way. You know, say something constructive, and let's see what we can do to work together. Here's an invite. Okay. What else is there? Imams like to protest. This is an interesting one. Interesting because what you're suggesting is that Muslim leadership encourages a lot of this negative behavior, and it's true. It is true, definitely true, because some Muslims might say that that's not right. Look, only a few imams do that in England, but then if you look at how imams behave in Pakistan, it's a lot worse. So it's just because they haven't got the ability to be as bad as they are in this country, that they aren't worse. So if they had the opportunity, they would be worse. And the evidence is quite clear. If you go to Pakistan, there's a lot of oppression of all types of other types of Muslims, including Ahmadi Muslims, which I am a part of, a community that I am part of. So but then you might be thinking, how can a Muslim say that? How can a Muslim say something so negative about Muslim leadership? Well, actually, you'll be interested to know, and a lot of Muslims would know this if they consider this. The Prophet of Islam actually said some very negative things about Muslim leadership at a certain time of its history. Let me expand on that. He said that there'll be a stage when Islam is broken up in many sects. Okay, because Islam is not supposed to be broken up in sects. There's no concept of sects or groups within Islam. Islam is Islam. So he said that there'll be a time when there are many sects in Islam, and at that time the Muslim leaders, the Imams, will be the worst people on the planet. I don't think even Pat Condell has quite said that, but then he probably might have. But that's the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, saying that himself. But he also said at that time that there would be a revival of true Islam. There would be a community raised by a person called the Imam Mahdi, like a reviver or the guide, and he was supposed to bring Islam back, not against all other religions, but well, basically a revival of true Islam, which is treating other people of different faiths and whoever in the whole world with kindness. So that's what the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, and I am part of that community, part of that revival. I'm a follower of that person who is supposed to be reviving true Islam, and so I have to agree that these Imams, not only do they encourage protest and do lots of bad things, yeah, they are the worst people on the planet. What can I say? If I'm a Muslim, I have to agree with the Prophet of Islam. Okay, so what's next? So he says 90% of women in Pakistan suffer from domestic violence. I'm not sure about that. Maybe you can stretch statistics. You know, statistics are one of those things you can really mess around with. I'm not saying at all Pakistan is a good country. It's suffering from a lot of problems and a lot of bad things. It's doing a lot of bad things, but I sort of question that. There are a lot of women. You see in a lot of generally Muslim households, women are really bossing men around. So in my household, my wife included, my mum bosses my dad around. It's a very common thing. In fact, there was an interesting article called "Why I Love Islam," written by Tony Blair's sister-in-law, Sherry Blair's sister. Forgot her name now. And she says that one thing you will notice about Muslims, or Muslim men, is that they are under the thumb of their wives, as it were. So I'm not too sure about that statistic, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of domestic violence, and that is definitely not good, and I definitely don't agree with that sort of behaviour. Um, then he made a point about Israeli technology being haram. What if Jewish people, for example, maybe I think he's suggesting that Jewish people control media and Muslims use the media to find out about what's happening in the world. If he's suggesting that, then he doesn't understand what haram means. Haram, for those who are a bit new to Islam, means something that's bad, forbidden. And so, no, if people are doing something good or producing news or whatever, going about their business without the intent of just doing something bad, like selling drugs or something, I don't know, then that's not haram. What people do, if they, I suppose, what Pat Kandel is suggesting, that Muslims hate Israelis or Muslims hate Jewish people, that is completely wrong. I suppose that's partly the fault of the media. Maybe he doesn't know any better, but there are many Muslims within Israel, not the West Bank and the segregated bits, but living with Jewish people, and Jewish people and Muslim people, I think are very good friends, in fact. My best friends, I'm not just saying this, my best friends at university were Jewish people, because they were behaving more like Muslims than most of the other Muslims did at my university anyway. So we had a lot in common, and the news people, the media didn't like to show that kind of stuff, right? Because it's not fun, it's not divisive enough, and it's not interesting enough, I suppose, for people to watch, where people are just being friendly to each other rather than hating each other. What else is there to say according to his video? There isn't much more to say, but I would like again to invite Pat. Pat, please come and join my Big Questions live show. And we're a very friendly bunch, Ahmadi Muslims, who organise this show. We actually want to invite lots of people from different backgrounds, Buddhists, atheists, whatever you want to call yourself. You're welcome to join the show, even if you're just average Joe, you just want to be on the show, you've got lots of opinions. I want you on the show because you make the show work just by taking part, so you can give your point of view on different issues. I suppose I should quickly introduce the Big Questions live program, which happens every week, every Saturday, 6 to 7 o'clock. Just go to bigquestionslive.org. I'll put the link on the bottom of the video. It's about making a positive difference to the world by allowing people to ask questions, and is based on the idea that the answers to all our world problems, our personal problems, are out there if we just start listening to each other. And that's all I've got to say for now. Thank you for watching.